I've been running east, looking for a sunset, digging deep since '99. What I thought was gone was sitting in my pocket in plain sight all along. I think it's time for me to go, burn all bridges. All I know, got lost along the way, fell between the foam, pulling stitches. Time to let go, so come what may. Don't look before you leave. What you give, you get to keep. So long, farewell, bye-bye. Let's sever toes.
This was my first time going abroad with my bike. I started the journey by catching a train from Dublin to Rosslare, and then from Rosslare it was a 17-hour journey to Cherbourg with Brittany ferries. I found the ferry journey very pleasant. It's a lot more comfortable than being on a plane, and the slow pace while staring out at the water was really enjoyable. I decided to cycle in northern Normandy and cycled from Cherbourg as far as Dieppe, which is about 500 kilometres. And then from Dieppe I had to make my way back to Cherbourg to get the ferry home again, and took 3 trains to get back to Cherbourg. Just a word on the route. I'm following La Velo Maritime or Eurovelo 4 route. There's plenty of signs, it's really well marked. Occasionally I do miss a turn and I get a little beep on my watch to let me know I've gone off the route, because I've been contemplating life's mysteries or dreaming of Panneau Raison. And obviously in Normandy it's filled with war sites, and that holds no, I don't have much interest in that or history, I'm afraid. But if it is something that interests you, you will have plenty to learn and see while here. What follows is a montage of scenes which will hopefully give you a flavour of the varying terrain and landscape that I experienced along this route. Open agricultural land like this has been a very common feature along this cycling route. I hope I get to cycle down on the other side of this hill. I'm sitting down at the end of a pier overlooking, I think it's called Port Bessin. Excuse my pronunciation. I'm watching the sunset, and as I was cycling here I was regretting booking the hostel that I'm staying in tonight, and I have another booking made for, I think it's 4 nights time in Le Havre, and I was really regretting having made those plans, but as I was approaching this pier I realised that if I hadn't have made those bookings I wouldn't have got this time to just sit down and relax. So part of my complaint to myself was that I would be able to make much more progress distance-wise, and so making those 2 bookings has slowed me down a bit more, and I can see the benefits of it now. Bonjour. Bonjour. I use Google Maps a lot to bring me to the campsites that I go to because they are generally off the main route, and Google Maps sends me down some crazy paths at times. I've just arrived at a bridge that I'm to cross, and there's lots of people standing around. I don't know, looks like there's something wrong. Mystery solved, I think. So this bridge had to raise for a big boat to come through. Hopefully it's eventually going to come back down again. I've only about 10 kilometres left to get to Dieppe. It's been nice cycling today. I haven't been caught in any rain. There's some dark clouds ahead of me here. I stopped in Vaux-les-Roses, which was really lovely. Quaint, narrow streets and a lovely beach and nice shops and a nice river and cliffs. Leaving the campsite this morning, it took me about an hour and a half, nearly an hour and a half, to get the tent dry. I prefer to leave the inner and fly attached, so it being an hour later in Normandy compared to home, it can just take a little bit longer for me to start off in the morning. But I got the tent dry anyway. So on with the last bit of the journey. I truly never realised it was going to be so difficult to decide what pastry to eat every day. It's really, really tough. Oh. Looks like a fruit and seeds. I have no butter and I have no tea. Ooh. Very nice. Needs a bit of butter. That's lovely. Very generous with the apple. I'm just doing this for the art. Almond and chocolate pastry. Okay, I'm going to try it.
kitchen too.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Been really enjoying the fruit here. Grapes, peaches, apples taste so good. Bananas taste like home. So nice. Picked up a Moroccan feast from a market here that's gonna feed me for about a week, I'd say. Some couscous, some sultanas, some chicken tagine and some vegetables. Oh, let's see what it looks like. Today's delicacy, a chocolate eclair. Baguette et du pain au raisin. Oof. Excellent. Just landed in a little town. It's not that little. Lots of shops. I'm gonna see if I can find somewhere to have lunch. There's lots of patisseries and boulangerie, creperie. See if I can get a tea as well. A little word about the campsites in Normandy, mainly because I'm coming up a hill and I'm taking a little break. So I've been in Normandy for 10 nights now. I've had 8 nights in campsites, 1 night in an Airbnb and 1 night in a hostel. And after 8 nights in the campsites, I've 2 left, 2 more campsites left, 1 tonight. And my final one will be tomorrow night, and I'm actually going to spend 2 nights in that one. So that will be 10 campsites altogether. And I've really enjoyed the campsites. I've really enjoyed being able to have a shower at the end of the day after cycling, and to be able to do washing. Oh, such a joy to be able to do. And drying. And then when the weather has been atrocious, being able to get some alternative accommodation, cheap accommodation in the campsites has been great. Everyone keeps to themselves, so I still had a sense of just not being around lots of people, so it wasn't in any way bothersome with other people in the campsite. And obviously it is kind of quieter this time of year in September. Another day to be stopping to smell the roses. I'm racing against the weather and trying to get as much miles as I can in while it's not raining. taken some shelter in a bus shelter. I left Letretat and I'm on my way back to the campsite with the treehouse, which is about 8 kilometres outside Letretat, and the rain held off today until I left the cliffs, which was great. It's coming down pretty heavy now and I'm just going to have to endure it, and I'm so glad I have my treehouse for tonight. I am suited and booted and starting day 2 cycling. I think I have to take a turn here and have to keep on remembering to stay on the right side of the road. It's a overcast day, plenty of showers and strong winds, but it's still lovely to be out on the bike. The rain is back again. I've only about 15 kilometres left on my planned route for today. I'm going to hopefully camp at a campsite again near Utah Beach, and I'm going to hopefully stay in a cabin as well. I had contacted them and they had confirmed, but I was still holding off because I didn't know what kind of distance I was going to do today. So I did email them this morning to say that I would get there. And yeah, like cycling in this weather today is the first time I've willingly cycled in rainy weather. I was going to say crap weather. Yeah, we call it crap. But I really have enjoyed it. Once you have the right gear, and obviously like at times it was like really heavy, and I just can't imagine that over the next 2 weeks it could be in any way as bad as that. Could be eating my words, it's only day 2. So I've reached the campsite outside Dieppe. It's about 5 kilometres outside Dieppe, and it's a very strange feeling. I'm going to be here for 2 nights and I don't even have a word for the feeling. Maybe a bit disappointment that I won't be getting up and cycling long distance again tomorrow. I really enjoyed the life that I've led for the last nearly 2 weeks. So it's, according to the route, it's about 500 kilometres from Cherbourg to Dieppe, and I know I did a lot more than that because I cycle in and out of campsites and chasing sunsets or sunrises occasionally. So I'm going to say I did about 550 kilometres, so I'm really chuffed with that. Yeah, just to have done a long distance cycle. I really enjoyed it. I've come out for a nighttime cycle tonight. I'm in Honfleur and I've come down to Pont du Normandy, which is a bridge that crosses from Honfleur over to what I've always called Le Havre, but it is Le Havre, I think. There's a boat coming. And I was here this afternoon and thought it would be really good to come back at night, and originally I'd planned on coming for the sunset and just get some nice colours in the sky with the bridge, but I was enjoying myself in the tent and I missed that, and I thought it would actually be lit up more than it is. I'm going to throw up the drone and see if it can get any footage. And also I'm halfway through my trip now and I'm really having a lovely time. And there's a real rhythm to the trip of getting up in the morning. I'll have chosen a destination, usually a campsite, and I'm aiming to get there and just sampling lovely food along the way and enjoying the sights. And I did very little homework at all for this trip in terms of the route. I knew of 2 places, on Fleur, where I am today, and which has just been a pleasure. I had a real relaxing day. And there's some cliffs further along up the coast, Etterat. I could be pronouncing that all wrong, or have got the name wrong. And besides that, I knew nothing else. And I'm really enjoying the campsites. In Ireland, I have no interest in staying in campsites generally, because I love wild camping. But I've really enjoyed the campsites here, doing long distance on the bike. Oh my God, just the flow from the water after that boat. Wow. Campsites. Yeah, really enjoying being able to have a shower at the end of a day, and also being able to wash clothes. I love having clean clothes, and today I was able to put loads of clothes in the washing machine and a dryer, and I'm all set up now for the next few days, which is great.
Caught behind Venetian blinds, had to reach for the city lights.
This looks like a bus stop that has a bench and lots of books. What a simple and clever idea.
I've been running east, looking for a sunset, digging deep since 99. What I thought was gone was sitting in my pocket in plain sight.
This lovely man, Marcel, is letting me camp in his
I'm
garden.
from Kosovo, Albanian and French since 52 years. I have made a study here in France, and then I come back to Kosovo, but because I was Albanian, the Yugoslavian didn't like, because I was the first of the south of Europe to be a specialist of the modern dance.
Okay.
Don't look before you leave. What you give, you get to keep. So long, farewell, bye-bye.
Just met a cat that was just standing in the middle of the road. I had to pull over the bike. This car is coming. So skinny. Oh my God. That was a bit of a traumatic start to today's adventure. I bought a 6-pack of wet food, and the cat actually ate 3 of them. Well, I gave it 3. And its belly was quite swollen. It'll probably end up puking it all up. A guy who was living in the house beside where the cat was came out, and we couldn't really communicate, but I understood enough for him to say that the cat wasn't owned by anyone. And then he just went inside. So I doubt he'd have much interest in looking after the cat. But the window was open, and I left the remaining 3 sachets in his window, and hopefully he'll feed the cat into the future. Wouldn't that be great? There were 3 particular websites that I found very helpful for my trip. One was lavelomaritime.com, and on this website it provides a route map going from Roscoff over to Dunkirk. It's a 1500 kilometre route, and you can download a GPX file of that route. You can also have different starting points and end points along that route and download that particular GPX file. Another fantastic resource is a website called Rando Camping, And on this website, it provides a visual display of all 7,500 campsites in France. There's some really cool features on this site. You can upload a GPX file of your route, so you can see mine here, and you can see the campsites that are located close to your route. There's also a facility to add additional information like train stations. So the purple dots here are the train stations. So that was really handy when I was planning my route back, because when I started in Cherbourg, I didn't know where I was going to finish. And after about a week or so, I chose Dieppe, mainly because I could see it was going to be helpful for me in terms of organising my trains back to Cherbourg, because there was a train station located in Dieppe. So also within this website, you can select a particular campsite, like say this one. If I click on here, it'll bring me into some details about the campsite and also the website for that particular website. So really handy. A third resource I'd recommend is the SNCF Connect website. So this is the French National Railway website, and you can choose your starting location, your finishing location, your date of travel, and see the connections that would be involved. So for me to go from Dieppe to Cherbourg, I chose a route that had 2 connections, so it meant I had to get 3 trains. I was able to see the timing and book my tickets online. It was really straightforward and all worked seamlessly.